Hi everyone. Today we're going to be making a landscape using Google Draw and also integrating value and positive and negative space. So let me start presenting my screen. So our goal today is to use the shape and color fill tool, as well as learning something new, the polyline tool, to create a winter-inspired mountain landscape. So if you look up on my screen now, you can see a completed version of the landscape with some extra details. What you want to think about as you're creating your landscape is the things in the background or in the negative space are going to be a little bit bigger than the mountains in the foreground or your positive space. We also are going to think about having the things towards the background a little bit darker than the mountains towards the front. So to get started, you're going to go into your assignment and open up the blank Google Draw file. You want to add a background color, which is basically going to be your sky. To do that, you can either draw a rectangular shape, or I actually learned something new where you can right-click, hover over the word background, and then pick a background color from here. So then your whole canvas is filled with that color. Now we're going to start using the shape tool to create our mountain range. Now remember, the ones towards the back are going to be a little bit taller, maybe, a little bit taller. And you also, when you decide what gradient or color you want them to be, because you can also play around with the gradient tool, you're going to use value by making the ones in the background darker. If you want the same exact shape, remember you can copy and paste by hitting Control-C to copy and then Control-V to paste. And then you just select each shape and kind of move them to wherever you want them to be on your canvas. We can also overlap shapes, and then you can also select and change the size if you want your shapes in your very background to be varied, which means not exactly the same. So I chose to do green for my mountains for this one, thinking maybe, these are covered with trees, so that's why they're green. So now I'm going to move to my second layer. So I have my background done. So I have my largest mountains and my canvas filled in with a sky color. Then I'm going to move to my second row of mountains. I'm once again just going to use the shape tool. I'm going to draw out my triangle shape. And then I'm going to change the color. Because I'm working on a gradient, I'm still thinking about value. I know that my background mountains are going to be darker than my foreground mountains, but the ones in the middle are kind of going to be this middle green. And of course, you can make yours any color. So I just want these ones to be a little bit lighter than the mountains all the way in the background. Again, I'm just going to copy and paste by using Control-V. And then I just build that layer of mountains in front of my very background layer. And again, if you want to go in and kind of change the shape, make them a little taller, make them wider, make them shorter, make them thinner, that's up to you. You just do that by selecting the shape and moving around those blue boxes. So now I'm ready to create my very foreground mountains. They're going to be the shortest mountains, and they're also going to be the lightest color mountains. So once again, I go to my shape tool. I draw out my shape. I change my color. I don't think that one's quite light enough, so I'm going to move one step up. And then I think I want them a little bit of a different shape. And then I can copy and paste my foreground mountains. And I want to just line them up along the bottom of my canvas. Remember, they can overlap, so they're closer together at some points. It's up to you. It's your world here. So now I have my darkest background mountains, my kind of middle color, middle ground mountains, and my lightest color foreground mountains. The only thing I really have left to do is add some details. In that example that I showed you at the very beginning, I used the shape tool to create some clouds in the sun. And then I also used something called the polyline tool to create the snow caps on my mountain. So I'm going to switch back to this screen and show you how to do that. So to get to the polyline tool, you're going to hover over the line tool, which kind of looks like a barbell. When you click the little arrow next to it, you have a bunch of different options. You're going to go to polyline. And this makes a line where you have to draw individual dots and then connect the line to make your shape. So you're going to do this across the top of some of the mountains if you want to. Where you want the line to start, you click with your mouse, and then every time you want the line to change direction, you click your mouse again. So I'm just kind of outlining the tippy top of my tall mountains, because realistically, on mountains, that's where the snow is, the tallest, highest points. So every time I'm trying to make one of these little like arrow or icicle shapes, I'm just clicking my mouse. The most important thing is that I wanted to connect to where I started my shape at the beginning. Now, the mouse kind of jumps around to that to kind of help you fill in the shape. And then you can just change your color to whatever color you want, really. I'm just going to make it white because it's snow. Then you can see I clicked over on the side and I started to make another shape accidentally. So to get rid of that, I just hit this arrow for the select button, and it selects the last thing that I drew on my canvas. So I'm going to unclick from that, and I'm going to show you one more time how to use the polyline tool. So it might be the line tool. I click on that drop-down arrow, go to the polyline tool, and then I start tracing the outline of the mountaintop. Then I just keep clicking in kind of like a zigzag pattern where I want my snow cap to be. And then I can change my color as well. Once I'm done drawing my shape, it's very important to go to the select tool, because then if I don't, I'll accidentally start drawing another shape. So when you're all finished with your mountains and you have everything that you want for that, you can go ahead and turn in your assignment. If you have any questions, please email me or comment on the assignment in Google Classroom. Have a fantastic rest of your day.